Okay. So just checking that leash pressure, sit out. Looking good. Okay, no worries. Good, bud. Good job. Okay. Frankie, sit. Good. So when he does this, we're gonna always pull him up. Now, for most of my clients, I typically don't care about that type of thing, but because Frankie has a tendency to be a pain in the butt via when we're leashing him, collaring him, he lays on the floor and rolls around, we definitely want to nix that. So we definitely, for Frankie specifically, we want a sitting up sit, right? Because the criteria is that when I ask you to sit, your butt goes to the floor, stays on the floor until I release you with an okay, right? So if he's laying down, he's actually still completing that criteria. However, because it's Frankie and he's throwing that nonsense at us where he rolls around and acts goofy when we collar him and leash him, you know, we're going to actually make him, you know, do that. And be under the impression that I want him to lay down. I don't, right? So what tells him that, no, 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 you actually did it, is when I mark right on time with that good, right? Sit. Good. Okay. Running through the hypothetical of we tell our dog sit and he doesn't do it, we have to know the answers to when would we correct and how would we correct, all right? So when would we correct? After a couple seconds. We say sit, we're gonna give you a chance to process it, bud. After a couple seconds, I gotta correct you if you're not at least trying to do it, right? How are we gonna do that? We're gonna say no. We're gonna tap, we're gonna say sit again. After a couple seconds here, I'm gonna use that leash. So we practice the last part first. So that's this leash, and what we practice initially with the sitting is just like our physical guarantee. If I say sit and you don't do it, we can correct you, but after that, we still need to make sure that you get into it anyway. Otherwise, you know, you're just going to take a correction to do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it, right? You still have to do it, right? Sit. Good. So typically what we would do with the dog who we don't care if he lays down is we would drop the leash and walk away. If he laid down, we wouldn't care. But again, Frankie is unique in that it's very tough to collar him because he has this established habit where you go to reach with a collar or a leash and he rolls and tries to play around with you, and it's quite frustrating. Huh? Good. Well, let's get rid of it. So with that being said, I wouldn't want to drop the leash and not have any way to continue to keep this shape. Okay? Sit. Good. So I'm going to just back up. I'll walk some circles. Now what I want to watch for is his butt. All right? His butt's going to tell me everything. So when and how, hypothetically, let's say he gets up prematurely, we got to know when to correct him and how to correct him. All right? So when to correct him will be the moment that that butt comes off the ground committedly. And I'm not talking about a cheek change, right? So we've been sitting in a chair for too long and we do one of these and we switch cheeks. That's fine. I'm not talking about like a touch and go. So that's the when. How? No. Tap, right? And he has to go back, first of all, to the same location. Right now, we're not giving him much of an option. We're actually not going to drop the leash this week, just because of that issue with the laying down. So typically, if you were to drop the leash and he gets up and he goes somewhere, you say no and tap. And then before you say sit again, he's got to come back to where he was sitting at. He's got to go back, right? And then you could say sit. If he doesn't do it, you'll use the leash. Now, if at any point he's doing a good job, that butt's on the ground and he's not laying down, good. No, just use this leash. Slow release. So when we're ready to release him, we want to come back to his side and just take a time out for a second. Okay.